Hi, everyone. It's Cejay here. Long time no see. I'm here with my colleague, Matt Wilson, and we're excited to announce that we're trying something new under the Crash Labs umbrella. It's no secret that Denny's been the face of Crash Labs, bringing on very interesting and cool guests like Eric Sprott, Rob McEwen, and Sean Brusen. He had more of a long-form format talking about high-level topics and worldwide issues. Matt and I want to bring something new to the table. We want to talk about what we know best, and that's deals.
Let's talk about deals, Siege. We're like the unwanted second property in a junior miner that gets spun out, and hopefully someone gives it some money so it can have some new life. We're going to see how this works, and let's talk about making money in a market that's finally moving ahead.
We are non-core assets in something much bigger.
We are the non-core asset that had a little bit of work on it done in the second cycle. So this is the next cycle of Crash Labs. This is a new one. What are we calling this?
Digging for dollars.
Digging for dollars. So we're gonna talk deals. We're gonna talk our portfolio. We're going to talk what we're seeing that maybe isn't in our portfolio, that maybe should be in our portfolio. And we're going to have just a sweet list of guests who all talk deals. And we're going to try and find things that make everyone money and make us money along the way, right?
Yeah, and when we were chatting about it, Matt, we kind of wanted to follow the format of like a PTI or, when Siskel and Ebert had their show, when they would, just debate rapid fire.
Do you think you'd date yourself with Siskel and Ebert? Like how many people that are viewing this do you know who Siskel is?
Who's the new guy when Ebert died?
I don't know. Who listens to Movie Critic? Don't you have Rotten Tomatoes?
Okay. So each format will be 30 minutes max. We'll throw out 2 to 3 topics a week and we'll debate them or talk about them rapid fire styles to keep everyone interested and engaged. And, if anyone has any suggestions, feel free to call, feel free to message us, text us, and, give us your ideas. Because obviously, like Crash Labs, this is going to be an evolving thing and we want to make it better.
We thought about like a fantasy sports podcast where, you get your 30-minute updates in the week and who the best players and what has the best chance of working and debating whether or not something was going up or going down and if it should be. And quick to the point, nothing too long. And hopefully we get to find some good stuff along the way. So I guess we can jump right into our first one, right?
The first topic, make or break.
Make or break, a segment on
the
real money makers of mining, which is drilling and junior mining. This is all junior mining we're talking about here.
So we are in drilling season right now for Canada, and a lot of companies have raised their money and are basically turned on the truth machine to see if they actually have any cheddar in the ground. And so a lot of these inaugural campaigns could make or break our company. And in all honesty, this is the most exciting part of why we are in this sector. The asymmetric upside or the total collapse in bag holding.
So yeah, total bag holding. So to kick this off, we'll do 2 names from our portfolio and we'll chat about whether is it making them or is it breaking them? And obviously there's stock prices that go with it, but maybe it's a buying opportunity if it's not that bad. So let's go to our first name in our portfolio, Kingfisher. See, do you know this name, Kingfisher?
Well, I know just because the chatter and sentiment has been, increasing on the CEO.CA boards. It's put together by a great group of people that we know.
One
of whom we'll have on a little bit later. And these guys have a history of finding great assets and, proving it up. So what do you know about it?
So this is Golden Triangle. And just for all listeners, we are not geologists. We're not going to sit here and talk about geology. We'll talk about high level things, but definitely not the right people to listen to if you want to dive into geology. So this is Golden Triangle in BC, real north, real big projects, Pretium, Red Chris, Eskay Creek, right? So Skeena and Newmont and lots of big things up there, big geology. It's funny, I was presenting a copper project recently, and I said that copper in Canada is only 1% of the world's copper is in Canada, right? That's our production. And I was like, we just don't have enough in Canada. And then this BC geologist comes on in the middle of a 30-person presentation, stands up, and he's like, you don't know what you're talking about. We have more copper in BC than we need and that we know what to do with. And I'm like, well, it's not making it to the world. So there's lots of copper in BC, and every cycle I find, the Golden Triangle kind of picks up again because you have these huge things up there. So you never really know how it's going to play out. But this project, Kingfisher, raised money at, I think, 10 million value. They raised $12 million, 50 meters, 3 grams gold, 400 meters, 0.3% copper, 0.3 grams gold. Theory is, as in most copper porphyries, something down deeper. They drilled, they hit the most, they put out a release of visuals, right? And usually I scoff, I don't know about you, I scoff at visuals. I say, don't do that. You know, people put out releases of gold flakes and core, and how many gold flakes are there? It never works out. But in this case, they released these unbelievable pictures. Stock runs from 25 to 45, and they're talking about boronite and chalcopyrite and all these great things. So come out 500 meters below all the old stuff, 500 meters, they say, of mineralization. They're rushing assays, boronite everywhere, pictures here, pictures there, make or break at 45 cents. Kingfisher, great team, cashed up, Golden Triangle, single season drilling. What do we think?
Well, copper in BC is hot right now. I think we've seen, explorers with not the best grade, but they have the width. And, a lot of larger players are coming in there doing JVs, specifically in the Golden Triangle. I like it if, they have enough money to put together a meaningful campaign where they can kind of drag out the assays and have the news flow during the quieter times, because obviously you can't drill out up there throughout the year.
It ends in like October, I think. You stop drilling, right? Yeah. So you have July to October basically is drill season. It's like aggressive drill season. But man, when these things work, they work.
The cyclicality of drilling, because we already see that in any campaign that an explorer goes through, but I feel like it's a little bit more exaggerated when you're drilling up there, because there are kind of that down period, and a lot of people.
Yeah, you have to be. So Kingfisher, also, my bad, 40 million, 30 million, 40 million market cap, 30 million market cap, 45 cents, 90 million, whatever shares out, some warrants. That's always important. So it seems like a make moment for these guys. If that comes out big, people seem to really care. Team is really good, big raise. So that's one to watch. It'll be really interesting. Rushed assays usually take 2-3 weeks, depending on where they're going from. So that'll be pretty interesting. So next on our list.
Speaking of non-rushed assays, and, not their fault, because a lot of labs have protocol in place where if a grade hits a certain threshold, they do have to re-assay them. But you know what? It was much awaited, and that is the company that we're involved with as well, Ramp Metals.
7 meters of 70 grams last year. We can go through this one together. 7 meters, 70 grams last year. That is a Hall of Fame hit. That is a discovery and a half. You tagged your ore body. But gold in these things, again, we're not geologists. Always hard though, right? It's always hard. Look, Founders. I don't even know if it's the same kind of system, but Founders, you're looking at something that had 30,000 meters of drilling prior to them being able to kind of take it off and hit their 9 meters of 90, right? Newfound. How long did Newfound take, right? How many iterations, how many cycles, right? So these guys hit this 7 meters of 70 in first pass. And we got in there, Eric got in there, and now there's some really good shareholders. And unfortunately, they came out with news. So this is a make or break question. They came out with news. You're in there for 7 meters of 70 grams. They drill 7 holes at the gold. They don't hit. They move north, drill 20 holes at these VMS targets where they hit some really interesting grades, VMS Northern Saskatchewan. And stock goes from $1.60, which it hit up to a high, down to 40 cents today. There's 45 million shares out. So you've got a, 18, 19, $20 million market cap. So make or break their move to VMS from gold, copper, zinc, silver, gold in northern Saskatchewan. Comps in VMS, you have VHMS 4N, you got 4N, right? Which is the hot topic today. Like that's been one of the bigger companies. You have Kid Creek, big things in Canada for sure. You have Laylor and Snow Lake, which built Hud Bay in the 60s. Tough stuff though, man. We own a company, T2 Metals, 18 million ton, historical asset. No one cares. 8 million market cap. So tough. Make or break, Cejay.
I don't think they're broken yet because they still have 5 million in the bank
and 7 meters of 70 grams.
Waiting on half the assays. However, I do think, and this is just me, talking out loud about deals. I don't run it, and obviously they know a lot more things than we do. However, I think they should, go and concentrate on their gold target if they really want to make the company, because, that's why we're in it. And I think that's why a lot of other people are in it as well. What you said before, the discovery hole is, enormous and significant. And, a lot of other companies would want that kind of hole.
In fairness, I haven't seen, so in this sort of scenario, I haven't seen a spin around in Leapfrog or Geoscience. I haven't seen a section presented. I don't think that was in the press release where you go through and you're like, okay, so if I drill here, where did I drill around it, right? And so these things, like this is 3D space, right? So it can pinch and swell and play snakes and ladders with you, right? So like things fall away, so you can need a lot of drilling. I know that when we went into it, we were like, drill 10 meters away from drill a box around it and then drill another 10 meters around, right? And I don't actually know how far they drilled. But I do know that there was not a lot of gold in what they drilled, which is really too bad. So, some people saying it's a bounce back, some people not. It'll be interesting to see what they do, but I do hope that there is some focus. I know that they're really positioning the VMS, but 7 meters of 70 grams is pretty amazing.
Not broken yet.
Not broken yet.
Okay. So, should I introduce Alex? And then we'll finish off the topics after Alex?
Sure.
Okay. So we have our guest today is someone who knows the junior markets inside and out. He cut his teeth at Haywood Securities, servicing both retail and institutional clients. He's financed many deals, and he's also founded a lot of deals. One of them, his first being Knorland, and him and his group of friends have since put together other, high impact, very exciting companies, and that's Alex Ruggieri, and he's here representing his new venture, Koulou Gold.
Hey guys, can you hear me?
Got you, loud and clear.
What's up, man?
Yeah, good to see you guys. Thanks for inviting me on.
Good to see you. Thanks for dealing with our technical difficulties of our pilot episode.
No problem at all. Had a headset handy, so it's working out.
It's perfect. So we just did the segment. We did the segment Make or Break, where we're talking about seeing drill results in the market and trying to interpret and be like, did that make your company or break your company? Because we know juniors. I know that you've been in this space a pretty long time now. Started at Haywood. Maybe, you worked with Tognetti. Maybe, just who is that? Where did you cut your teeth? Like who? You hear that name? Like who is that?
Yeah. So Tognetti was the founder in a lot of ways of Haywood Securities. He actually started it. It was started before him, but he made it into what it was. And I was fortunate enough to get hired by John fresh out of university. So I spent about 12 years working on his sales desk at Haywood. And he was one of the largest stockbrokers for a very long time, focusing on the junior markets. So he's been involved in a number of big deals over the years, and really was a big part of Haywood becoming what Haywood is now.
Got it. And so then you found your way into this group from there. So who's the group that you're with now?
So while I was working with John, I started just helping with his deals. We were really coming into the business from a security selection standpoint. So trying to pick the best deals for both us and our clients and figure out, what a good deal is. So there was a lot of years of just kind of toiling and trying to figure out what that is and learning about all the various aspects of our business. I went from there to more direct client service roles in both Canada and the US. And then in 2015, we started Kennerland Minerals. John was the first big shareholder that we brought in. The original board was myself, Zach Flood, and Peter Meredith. And we built the company around the 4 technical founders who were Dave Stevenson, Scott Smits, Francis McDonald, and Zach Flood.
And do you have do you think that there is a template? You've come from multiple sides, like Zach and Francis, very sharp technical guys, great backgrounds. Do you think there is like a template you can address in the junior market? Like, is there a way to pick deals that always works? Like if you filter or?
I mean, there's always risk, and you do need to get lucky and have things go your way at various points in a company's life. With Kennerland, I think we started with a share structure or an original structure that we thought made sense. In 2015, everything was really quite bad. So our original financing was $500,000, and Tognetti was $350,000 of the 500. And we didn't really have enough money to do too much, and that was part of the reason we started with the prospect generator model. And we were fortunate to get a deal done on our first project with Sumitomo, which kind of validated, I guess, our ability to do this. And then the second deal we ever had actually was Frotet, which is the one with the potentially economic discovery, which now Kennerland's ended up with the 4% NSR with the buy down to 3.25.
Right. That's the Sumitomo. That's where they're drilling right now, right?
Yeah. So I'm not sure what's happening on the ground right now, but Sumitomo's advancing that aggressively. I'd say that's one of the big catalysts over the next couple of years for Kennerland is what they do with that project.
And then how'd you get kind of moving over to? We'll segue into West Africa and what you're doing now, because I can't wait to hear about it. I think everyone should hear about it. It's a private company, but it's worth hearing about for when it's not, I suppose.
Yeah, so one of the founders of Kennerland was Francis McDonald, and Francis worked with the founder of Koulou, Desiree Aboukan in Newmont. Des was actually Francis's boss, so when the opportunity to enter Cote d'Ivoire came in 2021, Francis came to Zach and I. He's like, we got to do this. So we put a structure together. Des is the founder, Kennerland's the founder. So those are the two groups Kennerland the group and Desiree the man got the founder shares. We set a structure up. The first financing was $2.7 million. That gave us the ability to get our first project and again kind of do a proof of concept on what we were trying to accomplish over there. So that all went really well. I originally was just a shareholder. So we started it in 2021, and then it was really a one-man show with kind of support around Desiree for a couple of years. And then once we were going to get, we found out from the ministry we were going to get our Sakasu permit and our Kudo permit granted. So we're like, okay, this is serious. We have to, put more capital in here and really step it up. So we needed someone to join from the finance side. So I joined Desiree to fill that role. For me, I left a little over 2 years ago, and I thought the timing for the gold market made sense. I went to Africa to meet Des with Zach, just as a shareholder, just to see what was going on. And I was really impressed by him as a person. And, my investment methodology is really people-based. So, I saw who Desiree was, I saw what the opportunity, and I thought we were going to finally get a good gold market. Like for all of you guys, I started in April 2011, so it's been, the wind has been against us for a very long time, and finally it looks like it's changed, and the timing for Koulou's been quite good.
It's funny. We actually passed on. So this West Africa deal, giant soil anomalies, and it's like each project they get is bigger than the last one. And we actually passed on a deal, and I don't think I appreciated the people enough. So we were down in Beaver Creek last year. Cejay, Denny, and I are standing. Alex, you and I had just chatted. Anyway, so we're standing, and Des, who's Alex talking about, this guy walks past, and Denny points at him, and he goes, "Matt, I know you've been talking about West Africa." He's like, "Listen, you need the people, the right person." And he points at this guy, and he's like, "That's the guy." And he's like, "That's the guy. If you're going into West Africa," and he had no idea that we were buying into this deal and that this was a relationship. And he just pointed, he's like, that's the guy. So let's find out what deal he's doing. And that was when we had jumped into this one. So,
and I found out that trip that Denny had spent some time in Ghana, and no, it's a very small mining world over there in the same way it is in Canada. You know, we all are kind of 1 or 2 degrees away from each other in some capacity.
I think I met Francis when Kenorland was still private, and it was in Vancouver during VRIC or Roundup, like many, many years back. And, you know, he's pitching me the story at his Airbnb after, you know, a night out. Maybe we had a couple of bubbly pops and peach schnapps along the way. And then I ran into you at like some banquet event, right? And you had Arthur Dolphin at the table.
Yeah, that was PDAC awards dinner a long time ago. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think Kenorland was still private at that time, was it? Or
yeah, I think so. We took it public in the COVID that COVID run post discovery hole at Frotet.
Yeah, and so you know I was getting all of these signs to do something with you guys. So when we saw you at Beaver Creek, you know, like 3 times. So we're believers in you guys.
Yeah, no, I appreciate your support. Matt was an enthusiastic first yes on the last round of financing, which is always, the earlier it happens, the more it's appreciated. That's for sure.
So what does Kenorland own of Koulou but just for
7% now.
7%. All right. So what's so just give us a 1 minute. It segues. Give us a 1 minute on what Koulou is and why it's awesome.
Yeah, great. So Koulou, our goal was kind of to recreate the scale that we had in Kenorland in West Africa. Getting ground is a little bit, it's a different path there, but we've succeeded in really scaling up the project portfolio. So we're trying to do large scale systematic exploration. We're happy to be the first guys on a permit, assuming the geology and the context makes sense. So we've been aggressively growing the portfolio. And now we've done a ton of surface work on our main projects, and the next step is going to be drilling 3 different projects this year, and then we'll have to make some investment decisions with regard to what the focus is, and try to monetize and advance the entire portfolio as best we can with the capital we're able to get.
Do you think you're going to try the prospect generator route again, or?
No, the vision with Koulou was always to try to make a big discovery and own it. So that's the path that we're undertaking. I think when we advance to the middle of next year, if we have, 2 or 3 projects that are looking like they require, additional work, we'll have to try to normalize the portfolio through deals with other parties, just to make sure everything keeps going. But the plan is to make a discovery and take it the distance.
So that's great. And so now out of curiosity, so there's a 17-kilometer soil anomaly of 500 ppb gold, which is for context the largest soil anomaly of that size and grade that I've seen. Is that the plan to drill, or we drill all 3?
So the sequence. So right now we have 3 projects, really, 3 main projects: Sakasu, Koulou, and Asufri. Asufri is by our major shareholder, our largest shareholder, Endeavour Mining's new Asafu ore body. So we've now consolidated an additional 2 permits by Asufri. So the plan is to start with surface exploration once the rain starts. So we'll try to expand those soil anomalies in both directions that they're trending, and then drill that one. That one's going to be third to drill. So Koulou we could be drilling at the end of next month. Sakasu will then be probably October, and Asufri then after that. So the plan is to put 5 to 10,000 meters into Koulou, 10,000 meters into Sakasu, and up to 20,000 meters of core into Asufri. We're not going to do it all at once. It'll be stages. We'll probably start with 5 or 10,000 at Asufri, and then retarget based upon the results that we get.
That's exciting. So Kenorland also an interesting stock, as that's the public exposure, I guess, to this Koulou gold.
Yeah, no, I mean, Kennerland's been trading well. I think it's
Kennerland.
Yeah, either way. Yeah. It's I think it could potentially be another, nice addition to the Kennerland balance sheet at some point in the future. And no, I'm obviously optimistic on Kennerland. I'm just a shareholder now, but it's material for me.
That's great. Okay.
All right. So Alex, we're gonna try a cool new, or it's brand new because everything is new. We're gonna do something called Dig This Deal, where each of us are gonna pitch a stock, 30 seconds, and the other two will have to decide if they dig it or if they don't dig it. And the only thing that you have to include in your pitch is the market cap. That's it for now. Maybe it's going to evolve into something different, but let's give this a go.
Not something that we're involved in, just passive shareholders, correct?
It can be anything you want. So mine is one I kind of want someone else's opinion on. I don't even own it.
Okay.
It can be anything you want. You get like 30 seconds, tops 1 minute. Imagine it's like the elevator pitch, but you can't say the name. And the only thing you have to include is you have to say the market cap, because I don't understand how people can talk about deals without market cap.
Cejay told me it had to be one I wasn't directly involved in yesterday, so I'll stick with my idea.
And then we all say, do you dig the deal or don't dig the deal? And then at the end, we'll talk about what the name is.
Okay. And you guys want me to go first?
And I also think you get a point if you guess it.
Okay. That makes sense. Yeah.
Okay, here, I'll go first because I'll warm it all up. All right.
Okay, go for it.
This company, I got 65 million market cap. I've been around since 2008. 20 million's gone into the ground, and a nice 200 by 200 potential deposit has been defined with 160 meters of 3 grams gold, 90 meters of 3.5, and 54 of 5. 20 million was spent by Agnico and Newmont. Recent drill hole of 105 meters of 7 grams. But then as it goes below about 200 meters, it stops hitting gold. It's a wonderful package of land in a great place, in a great corridor of Colombia. Seems like there's big exploration potential, but for the last 20 years, it's really only been drilled in the same spot over and over. Big grades, pushing this to a mine, road nearby with power. 6 million or so in the bank with 330 million shares. And Newmont, who did a lot of the work, just sold 9.9%. Stock was last raised at 17 cents, now 22. Dig, no dig. Newmont just sold 9.9. They were the ones who did the work for 20 years, or for whatever, that 20 million. Newmont and Agnico, they just sold, and the drill hit was just 105 meters of 6.5 grams gold. Dig, 65 million cap, dig it or no?
No dig from Siege.
Yeah, it's a tough one for me. I guess. Am I held to I got to give an affirmative or negative?
Tough one is a good answer. I feel like tough dig. That's a good one.
Okay, I'll stay there.
So do you want to tell us, or?
No, to wait until the end.
All right, Alex, go for it.
Okay. I thought of this last night when Cejay texted me. So $180 million market cap. It's trading lower than it was when I would say the bull market began. The reason for that's a management changeover and a little bit of a hangover from that. They have 4 million ounces at roughly a gram in Ontario, and they're going to put out a pre-feasibility study at the end of the year.
First Mining.
No.
No?
No,
Okay.
It's not First Mining.
All right.
What's the market cap?
180 Canadian.
Okay, so 4 million ounces a gram, pre-fees coming out at the end of the year.
Trading at sub 200 in this gold market with 4 million ounces in Ontario.
So $50 an ounce. How much cash do they have in the bank? I guess, do we get questions? Or is it just dig or no dig?
That's a good question, actually, and I'm showing how active of a shareholder I am in this one because I don't know the answer to that question.
Okay, maybe it's just dig or no dig. I would, at this point, probably no dig that deal at the moment. Although that's a tough one because that's
Feels like he did the research after when I asked him to, and he's thinking no dig as well.
Well, no, I wanted to pick something that I thought was a buy for August 7th, and this thing's been going sideways for a number of months, and it appears to me like someone's accumulating at a buck or at these levels, and there is big institutional ownership, which should put this to whatever the PNAV should be based upon the quality of the PFS.
What's the PEA? Do you know the value of the?
I think the last technical study was over $1 billion.
Oh, all right. Well, I've been buying stuff like that. Maybe dig.
Maybe dig. Maybe I dig.
Further investigation warranted. How about that?
All right, we'll tell you the name after. It's yeah.
We might dig.
So my stock, it's based in a very mining-friendly jurisdiction in South America, where we have seen a firestorm of M&A activity. It's trading above 520 million market cap now. It put out a PEA last year, and I think the after-tax NPV 5 was around that same mark. However, it only encompassed 40% of the resource. And, right now they're sitting on 4.3 million ounces. So these guys have raised 25 million in February, and they're putting it all into the ground. They want to expand out the resource, but they also want to expand out the PEA, which only encompasses one of their deposits. So they want to put in another, their other high-grade underground deposit as well. And so you may think this is expensive. However, the upside is going to be in the new advanced PEA and, just expanding out that mega resource that they already have.
What's the grade of the resource?
I think the open pit is around 1 gram and the underground is, 2.5 times more than that. But don't quote me on that.
I dig Alex's and no dig yours. Can I hedge?
Buy them both.
I think in this market, we got more will likely work too, which is a factor for sure.
Oh man, so you guys are just owning everything.
Well, it might be that time, but
yeah, it might be that time. Fair enough.
I'll dig it.
You're digging it?
Yeah.
Thank you, Alex. You will be a reoccurring guest.
Okay.
All right. My deal was Orosur. OMI.
So they're just drilling out their original discovery, and Newmont bailed.
Newmont just bailed. They just drilled some crazy holes. I can't. We don't own it. I can't get a handle on. I've owned it off and on personally for like 15 years. They used to have some stuff in Uruguay that was really cool. I just can never get a handle on it. So I was curious. So, all right, that's mine. Which was Alex?
Mayfair Gold, MFG.
Mayfair.
So that was an old deal from my old group at Haywood. So I've just participated in all the financings as it was set up and went public and held the thing.
Did they have an activist shareholder in there at the point?
Yeah, the main shareholder in control is Muddy Waters, which is that short fund from the U.S., but they're doing some long ideas in the mining space, and this is one of them.
There's a few of these Ontario, Canada things, right? There's like Gold Rush, there's Springpole. Well, Springpole's under Lake, but it seems to be that it's going to move forward. Duquesne, right? Like there's a lot of these like multi-million ounce things that people are...
Mayfair is interesting because they had that old mine, but they were drilling out other areas of it. And I think they hit some really high grade in the footwall or something that's never been explored before. And so
yeah, there's some better grade some places in the ore body than the overall. And that Onyx just made a big discovery or is putting out some good holes right next door. So that's...
Also, they're next to the Croesus mine. That's cool. They're just in Timmins.
Yeah, it's the right place to be. It's a gold deposit, Ontario, relatively simple. I'm not aware of a fatal flaw in the project. So yeah, it's an interesting one, and because it was trading at like $250 for a long time, even kind of before I would say the market, started improving, and now it's down at $1.60. And if I look at the chart, somebody's buying it at that level.
So that's my response. Digging into Mayfair. That's a good one.
Yeah. No.
Yeah, I'm digging into it too, and it could be a straight up dig. My stock is Oh My Gold Mines.
Oh my is my great regret of the last 5 years because we worked so closely with it, and it was like 5 cents, 4 cents. And it's now 80 cents with like talking about whatever 10 million ounce potential. It's crazy. Yeah, it's gone. It's ballistic.
What's the over and under in the resource when it's all said and done? It could be.
I don't know. I've just sadly watched it go up without owning it and not followed it too closely. But I know that credit to what's Derek and Sam's fund called. They own a bunch of it. Olive owns a bunch of it. So credit to those guys for holding in there.
Yeah. Good conviction.
All right, well, that's a pretty fun
guys.
segment. That's how we're going to make lots of money, is digging into new deals with different people. So that's really great, Alex. Thanks for sharing that. And yeah, man, thanks a lot for being here on the first episode ever of Digging for Dollars.
No, thanks for having me, guys. This is actually my first ever podcast. I've been a behind the scenes guy primarily in this business. I didn't know if I'd jump to the front of a deal, but life sometimes does that.
Well, maybe we can get back on here when you start drilling and start hitting some crazy things.
Yeah, I'd love that, guys. Thank you.
That'd be great. Thanks a lot, man.
Okay.
Congrats, Alex. Bye-bye. That was good. Those 3 stocks were fun, eh?
Digging for dollars. Digging for dollars, digging for deals. That's for sure something that's going to be a fun thing on our show here. It's I know that I was learning. Mayfair. I hadn't heard that name in a while. There's so many of these things. Like you look at all this stuff across like the country right now is so curious. Like you've got all these companies that were $30-40 million market caps, $50 million market, white gold up in the Yukon. Like everything's kind of doubled recently. So Mayfair hasn't. I know that First Mining just raised 25 million oversubscribed. Like there's a lot of interest and a lot of money going into the space. But
why do you think a lot of these majors are divesting some of the like large shareholdings? Because you mentioned white gold. I think it was who? Kinross?
Yeah, well, Agnico owns a bunch of that, has been funding that, right? With that was the Sean Ryan thing in the Yukon in the last gold rush, right? So like in 2010 when they had every single piece of land there, and that was when coffee got bought and all those things, right? So I think that, Canada's been a weird place too, because it's just been such an odd place for business, and the TSXV sucks. and like the regulations here are so hard, and so the Aussie market's still been really good while we're kind of lagging behind, but the market actually looks really good now. Still not a ton of money coming into the space though, but the market looks better, which is it's just not less sellers, I guess. And so you are seeing more things happen. I think it's going to be it's an interesting space to be in Canada. It's such a mining friendly country for the most part. Like you look at like the top 10 Fraser Institute rankings, I think 5 of our provinces are in the top 10 or 4 of them or something like that. So Ontario is 9 and Newfoundland Labrador is 10 or whatever it is. And so it's interesting that they have all these things because we have all these assets in different places around the world, which, so people go all these fancy places to find gold and find copper. And at some point you can just stay here. So
the money is not coming into our sector. Would you... I guess if you have the ability to do so and to remove volatility away from your stock, you want to go Alex's route and just stay private for the time being.
Man, it's so hard where if you can raise money privately in our space. I mean, like look at venture capital in biotech or in tech or in basically any other industry in the world, right? You don't go public pre-revenue. You just don't. You go public when you actually have revenue and you're stable and you can pay public company costs and pay for marketing and all these things. We have this weird market here in Canada and Australia, and you go public. And so you have all these near-term expectations and you can't set prices of your raise. And, if someone wants to own your stock, especially an institution, if there's only one way to buy the stock and it's the price that you're setting, then it's like a true supply demand. Here, it's like, you could have like $15,000 of stock. Some angry shareholder dropped your stock from 50 to 30, and then all of a sudden you have to raise at 30, right? Because you can't raise above market. So, the route's good. We own a good chunk of that company. It's really exciting. They have just great team and big assets. So it'll be fun to see how that one plays out and to see if they go public, because we have a lot of private assets in the company. And I think that if you can raise that way and you can do the work, it is a benefit for sure.
Okay, so we'll make sure that we throw up Koulou Gold and Alex for any of our listeners that have some more questions. Or
I guess it's going to be in the Kennerland. It's that KLD portfolio as well. So, look, that was a great first episode. It'll be fun to keep. I learned already. That's fun. That's worth it. That's worth it for sure.
Yeah, let's keep it going, Matt. Thank you.